Hi everybody, welcome back. I am Tiffany with the Voices for Independence Fitness and Activity Department. I am here to share an art idea with you for the day. So today what we're going to be making is a simple origami paper fish project. So this is the project that we're going to be working on. You can see that we have these really cute three-dimensional fish that we are going to be making today, and I'll show you how right now. So this is a great project you can do yourself, or if you have children, grandchildren, if you have staff in your home and their kids are over, this is a great project for all ages, super easy and fun as well. So what you're going to need for the project, the supplies will be some colored paper, construction paper or cardstock. You will need a writing device, whether it be a pen, pencil, or marker. You'll also need a pair of scissors. You do need a black marker. And then you'll need a glue stick, regular glue, or tape if that's what you have, whatever you have available. So, and then you'll need 2 round shapes from your house somewhere. I have chosen to use a bowl, just a ceramic bowl, and then a coffee mug that I had available to make the 2 circles that we're going to need to make the large fish and the small fish as well. To get started, you'll want to pick your fish colors. In the sample here, we have red and pink. I think for today though, I am going to use yellow and purple. So I'm going to take my yellow piece of paper first, and then I am going to take my bowl for my large fish and I'm going to trace it onto my yellow paper. What I recommend, so you can save as much paper as possible, don't put your bowl right in the middle, that's wasteful, and you'll have just the edges around it that you can't do much with. I like to place it in the farthest corner, so I save as much extra paper as I can. This way I will be able to fit my other shape, my smaller round circle on here as well, and get both shapes on one piece of paper. So I'm going to start by tracing my large circle first. I'm going to just use a pen because it will show up and I'll be able to easily see the lines. So there's my circle for my large fish, and now I'm going to trace my mug for the smaller fish. I'm going to put it actually right next to it. I have plenty of space, and I'm going to trace right around the smaller circle to make the smaller fish. So there we have our 2 circles already. So the next step will be to cut out our circles. So I'm just going to take some regular scissors I have. Any type of scissors will do. If you have a hard time cutting, this is a great project to get the kids involved in or somebody else in your house. If you're able to, cutting is a great exercise. You might not believe that, but it's a great exercise working on our fine motor skills, which is our small muscles that help our fingers move. It not only works that, but it works the forearm and the wrist. So it's actually good exercise, and it's functional fitness because we're cutting something and it relates to real life. So you didn't think you could incorporate fitness into crafts, did you? All right, so now I'm going to cut out my smaller circle, working on my fine motor skills and my grip. They also have really great adaptive devices out there now. They have scissors that can be used with one hand. I will have to show you those in one of the lives. I have a pair at the office for consumers who only have use of one hand, whether it be from an injury or a stroke or something like that. Again, they're at the office, so I will highlight those in a different live in the future where you can see the adaptive equipment. So they do make multiple kinds of adaptive scissors, but the ones that we have is a one-hand use. All right, so now we have our 2 circles for our fish, which are going to be our big fish and our large fish, and that's where the paper folding is going to come in a little while. Origami is the art of paper folding. This is very simple paper folding, so it's not going to take much. So what I want to do next is I want to make the pieces to the rest of the fish. So the piece for the face and for the tail and for the fins. So we're just going to kind of freehand this. If you want, you can look at the picture that I'll be sharing in the comments below and you can guesstimate how to make it. What I like to do to make the fish face is I'm actually gonna again trace half of my circles. That way I can match it up with the round of the big fish and I can match the face shape up. So I am actually going to take my bowl and I am just going to trace a little portion of my bowl, probably like a third to a halfway around. So just about that much of my bowl is traced. And now I'm just going to make the letter B. As you can see, it looks like a capital letter B. So we're just gonna make that shape to make the two parts of the face. So I'm just gonna connect my lines, making a capital letter B, just like that as well. I think for the next one, I'll use my Sharpie so you can see that a little better. So I'm gonna trace around this for my large fish. And then I'll do the small one as well for you. Again, we're cutting it out, trying to stay on the line. It's good practice, no matter what age you are, for your hand-eye coordination and those fine motor skills. So we're just gonna cut that out and around. And now what we'll do is we will take it and we're gonna take our large fish circle and we're going to attach it with glue. We're gonna glue it right on there. So I'm gonna get my glue stick, works best in my estimation for this project. So I'm gonna put some glue on the back side and then I'm gonna glue this down on my large circle. Right there, lining it up as best as you can to make the face. Again, we're working on making the face of our large fish. So there we have that part. What I'm gonna do now is make an eyeball. All you have to do is get a piece of white paper. Again, you can trace something if you'd like, even your glue stick round or something smaller you have. I am just going to cut a circle out on my own. So what I like to do, an easy way to do it, is cut out a square of paper and then just round it off. So round out all your corners is an easy way to make a circle. And if you have to keep going and make it smaller, you can do that too. That eye is a little large for our fish. So I'm gonna scale it down a little bit, just going around in that circle, almost like a spiral, to make an eye that would better fit the size of our fish. I think we got a good size here. I have two of them, one for each fish. So what I'm going to do next is glue my eyeball onto the fish, and we can also make the black part of the eye as well. So we'll get some more glue from our glue stick and put that right on there. Again, this whole project is a great practice for fine motor skills. So if you have trouble with your hands and things like that, this is a great project for you to be practicing those skills to improve them. So now I'm just going to color in a portion of the eye black to make the pupil. And again, you can just use a marker, a crayon, a pen, whatever you have available for this part. All right, so I colored the eye in. So now all we have left to do is make the fins and the tail. So prior to doing that, oh yes, and the cute little heart mouth. So prior to doing that, what we're gonna do is the origami portion of the project. So we are actually going to take our fish face and right in the center here, right where our gap is, we're gonna cut a line halfway across the fish. So into an invisible line to the center of our circle. All right, so I cut an invisible line halfway through, and now all we're gonna do is carefully twist our paper into a cone shape. And then once again, we're gonna put some glue on there, or being mine is a heavier paper, I'm gonna use some tape and tape it on the inside to hold it in that cone shape. So a little piece of tape and we have that cone shape. Now, let me put a little more on this piece. And now we're gonna make our fins for the top and bottom of the fish and the tail fin as well. So for the tail fin, what we're gonna do is take our paper, again, we're using purple for this this fish today. Here's my purple. I thought I lost it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off this scrap so it's out of the way because it's nothing we're going to use right now. And then what I'm going to do is the tail fin is like a teardrop shape. All right, so I am going to fold my paper in half. By folding it in half, I automatically make a second one that is identical. That way you don't have to try and draw it twice. So I have my paper folded, and close to the edge, I am going to draw a teardrop shape so I can make my tail fin. All right, so simple teardrop, raindrop shape. We're going to go back to our fine motor skills and cut that out right along your black lines, trying to stay as close to your line as possible. If you don't want the line to show up, draw it a little larger and then you can cut inside the line. But we can just have it facing the back of the fish and no one will ever know that you made a shape and traced it. There you go. So now we have our two teardrop shapes for our tail fins. So I am going to take my fish and glue those on where his tail would be. You can kind of have them facing out a little bit. So I'm going to tape one on. And then we'll tape the other one kind of pointing out a little bit. That one's pointing up at an angle. Our next one's going to point down a little bit to form the tail. And then we just have to draw. Our last thing is our top fin and our bottom fin, which we are going to make next. So we can have one on the top and the bottom is, you can see, it's kind of like a misshapen heart. So what I did, again, to save a step, I took my, whoops, I'm dropping stuff here. Let me find another piece of purple, or am I out? We'll just use what we have. Hold on, let me stand that fella up. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold our paper in half again and draw a heart shape, okay? But we're gonna pretend that the heart got smushed right on the edge. So we're gonna draw a lopsided heart. Just like that. All right, and then we're gonna cut it out. Remember, the paper's folded, so I automatically are gonna get two pieces for the price of one, and I don't have to worry about drawing it or tracing it or making it, trying to make it look like the first one I made. That's why I love folding the paper in half when I have to do duplicates. All right, so we're just gonna cut that out, and then we're gonna cut it right up the middle so we have two pieces, just like that. And now we are going to tape one to the top of our fish and one to the bottom of our fish for the fins. And then I'll show you how to construct it. You're gonna make your small fish the exact same way as you made your large fish. And then we are going to put him in his underground water picture. So we're gonna work on that portion next. Since you already know how to make a fish, what you're gonna do for your next fish is do it the exact same way. Only other thing we have to do is take a piece of our red paper and we're gonna draw a heart on it, a small heart, because that's gonna be the fish. You know, fish like to pucker up a little bit. So we're gonna draw a heart right on there and cut that out for our mouth. So I just drew a little heart. If you need stencils, you can always download stencils off the internet. They always have free stencils that you can use. Templates, sometimes they're called, so you can look under stencils or templates and they will be able, you'd be able to print out some free designs. All right, so there's my little mouth. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on that and we're gonna glue it right onto the fish in the front so it's this little mouth. And there we have our first fish. So cute. And now we're gonna glue it on to our backdrop. We're gonna do an under the sea theme for the background, obviously, aquarium or the ocean, because fish live in the water. So I am just going to use those fabulous fins and tails as like, almost like tabs. They're perfect to use to glue down the fish, being that we made the paper into a cone shape and it's not gonna lay flat on the paper. The fins and the tails will act as tabs for us to glue down our fish. So you're gonna want to take your piece of paper, and I positioned it a little bit, maybe 2 inches above the bottom of the paper so we can add in some seagrass as well. And we'll put that along the bottom. So there's your first fish. He's in the water, ready to swim. And now we're going to add the grass on the bottom. Again, you can make the small fish on your own. You're just going to duplicate how we did the first one. So for the grass on the bottom, what you're going to want to do is get your green paper. We're going to cut about 2 inches across the bottom the long way, because this will line up perfectly with the bottom of our water. So I'm just going to cut a strip about 2 inches wide off of my green paper. So it's going to be like this. And now all you have to do, however you want to do it, is cut grass if you just want to fringe it. Or you can actually make the blades of grass. All I did was go back and forth in different directions to make the water, or the grass, looks like it was waving in the water. So you can just cut little points out of your green paper to simulate the seagrass blowing in the waves. You're going to go all the way across, up and down to do that. Whatever direction you want your grass to go. Do some long and short pieces as well. That'll make it look more realistic. You know, not all grass is the same length. You want to add a little more dimension to your sea life paper as well. I can't cut and talk at the same time, obviously. All right, so let me just get to the end of my line here. Going back and forth, making this fun seaweed for the bottom of my paper. Excellent. So we have our seagrass cut out, and all we're going to do now is, it's going to be much easier to put a little bit of glue along the bottom of your paper, and we're going to attach our seagrass. And then all you have to do once you make your small fish is just add the small details on. If you want to add some gills on the fins, or fin lines on the fins, you can add gills onto your fish. You can add bubbles. So you can take your black marker, and we can just add some detail on the fins. And then you can make bubbles coming out of its mouth. And there you have it. A really fun, easy, simple origami fish project. So I hope you enjoyed this today. It's something that you can easily do at home with just some paper glue and scissors, and get the whole family involved. It's a great summer project. I hope you guys enjoyed this today. I will share the instructions in the comments below, and you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll be back at 4 to make that delicious from scratch frosting. We're back to basics with the cooking demos this week, folks. So we learned how to make a chocolate cake from scratch with those cupcakes this morning, and I'll teach you a frosting recipe tonight. So enjoy your afternoon. Get out there, stay active, stay healthy, do something fun in the sun, and I'll see you at 4. Thanks, guys.